Dare to be a Daniel, dare to stand alone, dare to have a purpose firm, dare to make it known. Standing by a purpose true, heeding God's command. Honor them, the faithful few. All hail to Daniel's band. Dare to be a Daniel, dare to stand alone, dare to have a purpose firm, dare to make it known. Many mighty men are lost, daring not to stand, who for God has been a host by joining Daniel's band. Welcome back to the Daniel YouTube show. This is episode 6. This is words, or the word. I think we're going to call it word and language. It lives in the realm of language. And I'm speaking a language. I'm bearing my soul. It is a common thing for YouTubers in the conspiracy realm to do a shorts off video. And so fashion is a language. Everything is a language. It's not just words. We're talking about belief and what do you believe and how do you believe it, and how that belief is steered and stolen. And one of the ways is not just by controlling the words. It's by controlling the system that the words live in. And language is a big part of that. It's a culture. It's sociology, is what the colleges teach. It's anthropology. It's politics. It's spirituality. It becomes all these things. And then we we mirror these words, we mirror these beliefs to one another. So that is the gist of today's episode. Now I'm using flat earth as the template, as the stage, because when you tell people you're a flat earther, they go, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Don't you see the pictures of your eyes? And I say, those are pictures. Someone faked that. Is it possible to fake the pictures of the earth? The answer is yes. They go, well, hold on. What you don't understand is how powerful language is. You don't understand how powerful the language of the eyes is, the language of sight, the language of the hearing, the language of our soul, of our energy. We are not just these beings, these human beings. We are these spirit beings, and you can steer and you can trick and you can steal our deeper meaning and our spirituality really easily. And it is with the engraven images, with the power of the eyes. And examples like this of wearing a suit. Warren Buffett wears cheap suits. All these politicians, they wear the cheapest suits, and they're all billionaires. And they're all telling you, oh yeah, I would love to pay higher taxes, as they write the bill so they don't have to pay the higher taxes. And then they don't let you know that they're super rich. They have super big houses. Bernie Sanders owns 4 houses. Hillary Clinton owns all these houses. When people find those out, they go, that's crazy. I thought these people were men of the people. No, they're not. They don't bare their soul. They don't let you know who they really are. They are using language to trick you, to control you, and they're really just selling out. They probably know the secrets of existence, that we do live in this flat plane of existence. It is some sort of dream in a God's mind, so that God powers it with his energy and he beams it to us. It is a flat plane of existence. So outside of this ice wall, I used to be an eternal plane guy. I used to thought it went on forever. Now I'm starting to think more it's like a Skynet, and then you kind of just lose your mind and lose your memory. And I don't know what happens if there's a barrier. I don't think there's a barrier, but I just think you just go crazy and you don't get farther than past a certain point, probably like 4 days. Richard E. Byrd said he went like 4 days back, but it got really crazy if you read those. There's not a lot of counts on the South Pole, and the North Pole is the center, and that's connected to the North Star, and there's a magnetic mountain there. That's where tides come from. The mountain breathes in and breathes out twice a day, which is why there are tides in the oceans and the seas, and not the Great Lakes, and not those bodies of water, but the bodies of water that are touching each other. Yes, they are going in and out, and that's why at different times of the year it's cold water. In the Gulf of Mexico, there's a lot of hot water that comes in, and it's all about its position to the center of the North Pole. And if you look at the Alex Gleason map, if you look at the UN map, that is the model of the UN. We call that the UN. We call that the Flat Earth map. I argued Mick West on Twitter about that, and because our model has Antarctica as a 360 to 5 degree ice wall, their model is Antarctica is at the bottom, and they don't account for it when they do the AP map. So therefore, it is a 100% flat Earth map. I mean, now it might not be to scale, and it might not be exactly what the Earth is. There might be there might be a few more things missing on that map, but as far as we know, it's the closest and the best thing we have to some sort of an account of what the shape of the Earth is. During World War II, they used that flat map. They used the the flat Earth map for flight patterns for World War II. So there was accounts where somewhere in Taiwan there was emergency landings, and they would go to Alaska. If you look at the bombing plans for World War II, it's using that map, and it's very, very interesting. If you look on the globe, it just doesn't make sense. If you look on the other Mercator maps, it just doesn't make sense in the position with each other of where they actually do. So there's words, and then there's actions. Your words, your language, your sounds, this harmonic energy we are putting out should mimic our actions. And why doesn't it? Because we want to be glorified. We want to be powerful. We want to be righteous. We want to be in charge. We want it to be about us. We want to beam the energy back to us. And that's not what this created order was for. It was for us to do that to the Creator God. And for whatever reason, we left him, I believe, and we can't recognize him because we are in this state of depravity. We are in this death state where we can't see God and we can't communicate with God because we won't beam our energy to him. And it's because our language has been stolen from us. Our words are redirected, so we say words, but our meaning is different. And you can figure that in a conversation, and you know how to be hip to the jive and figure out what other people are thinking, not just what they're saying. You can tell by people's language. You can pick out the Republicans. They tuck in their shirts. You can pick out the Democrats. They wear T-shirts and they wear like slippers and stuff, and they always like I'm just angry and just like upset all the time, and like do this passive aggressive anger towards you. And you can and then the people that don't care, you can tell that you can figure them out too. And then in different parts of the world, if you've traveled around, you'll kind of see that people are the same, but they're different. And that is all a part of them projecting their language and telling you their story, telling you what they believe, but also protecting themselves and navigating this wild maze we call life. And if you know that the earth is flat and you know that the construct of it is stolen from us, and you know that there is a creator God powering it, the world will make a lot more sense to you. The reason why there's bad in this world is basically because of governments. The governments are the ones that rule everything through bankers. Bankers control. Now this is years of studying. You're gonna have to really go through this unless you just take the opposite of what you're told, and you can get it really fast. You could probably get it in a year, but it just depends on open and willing and free you are and what your goal is. A lot of people that learn this stuff on the Democrat side learn it to become powerful. They want to become glorified, or they want to become famous, or they want to take the language and have it be all about them. And then they use people like me to do that. And it's not what our goal is, not what my goal is. I thought in the beginning when I learned this stuff that I would tell people and then the world would change and everybody would just be like, oh, we don't want to live a selfish life anymore. We want to beam energy to each other and then beam it up to God, and that would be really fun and fair and have free economies and just, share our time with each other. And people fell for the trick that no, they don't want people to they want people to earn it. They want people to earn their respect. They want people to earn their glory. They want people to pay attention to them. And I'm not really doing that. I'm just trying to hang out and share my time and share my experiences with people that don't want to hurt me. But that has become few and far between, and we don't always be honest with our language, and that is the most prevalent thing in our world today is just the dishonesty in general. Just people just do not tell the truth, and they don't tell the truth because they want to rule over other people. So yeah, this is language, and I am going to do Wen, which is the calendar, which is also the interdimensional stuff. I'm going to get into that eventually, but I wanted to throw this one in there because the sound and the harmonic rhythm of life, I forgot about that because I am basically doing a what, where, when, how, who, and structure for this series, and talking about belief as our center. What do you believe? How do you believe it? Why do you believe it? Where do you believe it? And when do you believe it? And the sound and the language of that is uh, definitely a part of that. It's going to encompass all of those areas, and you need to be able to communicate what you believe, and it's not just through words. It's through your fashion, through your geography, through your what you do, not just what you say. So that is the gist of language. I guess I will tell a quick story. I told the story a little bit, but I didn't allude to the part. So if I talk more specifically and you don't understand what I'm saying, leave a comment, share, like, and let me know how I'm better in a conversation. So what happened to me a couple of years ago was there was an MK Ultra program ran on me by a bunch of celebrities. Now I had made a video a long time ago about abortion, and I said abortion's secret was that they're harvesting organs and they're using it to fund the elites. What I didn't know is the cloning program that's going on. Now, I still don't know the details of the cloning program, and I'm not getting into the details because I don't have like any information. But during this event, I learned that this is why they were mad at me, and I was like, why are all these celebrities picking on me? Because I had sent people my show just to gain access to my show, and I didn't understand why people were supporting Planned Parenthood and supporting abortion so much. I've met so many people that have abortions and they usually just cry and bawl, and it's such a sad, hard thing for them to go to. Now, I wasn't in any way picking on them, but the government is 100% harvesting organs, and there is a eugenics program going on. It's just clear. We don't have a lot of information on it, but it's absolutely crazy. So what happened was they threw an event for me and they confused my language, and there was a lot of schizophrenics. What I learned is actors are schizophrenic. They a lot of these people were in like these shows where like cop shows, and a lot of them were like low level actors, but there were some high level actors there too, and they were using the low level actors to like mess with my brain. And I don't really know exactly what they were doing, but they did this. They tied me down and they put these screens in front of my head and asked me all these questions. I answered all the questions, but what it did to my head is it made me like question and explain every word I say. So sometimes I do that too much, and then it gets confusing on what I'm trying to say, because those people did that MK Ultra program on me. So yeah, there is a cloning program going on. There is like this sci-fi version of the world going on simulation, but I don't know too much of the details. There are a lot of clones. Most celebrities are clones or either own cloning, like, but basically just warehouses, and they somehow clone. I mean, you can tell with like the hairline. It's when they're like 12 or 13, and then all of a sudden they look like they're 45, kind of like LeBron James. He's a good example of it. Kind of like Obama when you notice him like stare off to space, and then you can see, or like Conor McGregor when you saw Dana White like pinch him. Like we have uh, it's a theory right now. I don't have like the government money, how they're taking money from abortion. They're using the fetal tissue. They're using the organs for these cloning. Now, this is nothing to do with any of this episode, but I just wanted to explain why I sometimes explain things and my language can be confusing. I have a poetry channel called French Louis Poetry. Poetry is way easier for me to communicate what I want to say, so you can check that out. I write a lot of fun poems. I have a new poem called Professor Dave Explains. There's a guy named Professor Dave Explains on YouTube, and he likes to pick on flat earthers. So I wrote a poem just basically explaining to him that he's very good at the language of science. Now, the language that science is just a belief. How do we know if any of that stuff is true? The electrons and the neutrons, and then they show the fancy pictures. Those are just engraved images. Those are just pictures. Some of that might be true. Some of that might not be true. I hang a lot out with country people and Amish people and people that can build things and people that can predict the weather and people that have never watched TV and hardly ever watch, don't listen to the radio, and they know when it's going to rain. They understand how the earth works. Is it science? Yes, it's science. Does he understand some of the science? Truth, probably. But his stuff with flat earth is off point. It's just wrong. Neil deGrasse Tyson, even though he's the biggest shill, he at least admits that it's all theoretical. He calls himself a theoretical physicist, meaning it's all theory, and he won't argue with flat earthers. He is doing it for fame, his bit, but I respect him a little bit because he says it's theory, guys. It's they're having a theory, and you actually can't disagree with it. He understands what we believe, and he actually has a lot of respect for us. And if he wasn't such a shill, he would probably understand that like what we do helps you learn science. Like I'm not really that good at science, and now I'm not, like I know a little bit about science. Some of these other guys wrote a new poem by Eric Dubay. Peace out, good guy there. He knows a lot about science. David Weiss knows a lot about science, but they can also do the theoretical side that I do. So it lives in different languages for sure. There's tons of languages out there, and yeah, everybody wants control. Everybody wants to rule the world. Everybody wants to be the world. When you learn about this powerful earth we live in, people want to steal it. Holy moly, they want to steal it. There's energy in this world, and they don't want people to know about it, and then they want to steal it. And it's so stupid. It's so stupid. It drives me crazy. You're just gonna kill everybody. You're literally just gonna. That's where it goes. It leads to this thing called death. But those are other episodes, and check out my other episodes. And I will definitely look forward to the when episode, and that is the calendar, and that is also the metaphysical realm we live in, as well as the third dimensional realm. But right now, it's the language of truth and brazen realness, I guess, is what the Daniel YouTube show is trying to articulate to you. So thank you so much.